Hey, welcome back, Fishwife here. So next on the paper doll is the log out button. So whenever you want to leave the game, you can click log out. You can just close the program, just hit the X in the top right. Now what that does is it leaves your character in the game for a few minutes. Now this doesn't really matter in young status because not a lot can happen to you in young status. That's very negative. But once you lose that young status, your character becomes a lot more vulnerable. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find an inn, which, like we just discussed earlier, it has this little candle on it, and go to the center of that inn on the interior, and you can log out from there, and that'll remove your character immediately from the game state. Now, the other way that you can do this is once you get your own house, eventually down the road, you can also log out there, and it'll log out your character immediately and will not stay in the game. The only time that this really becomes an issue is if you have valuable stuff on you and you're in town, you get thieved. If you're outside of town, you're near monsters, you could be attacked. Or if you're trying to switch between characters, you're going to want to log out at an inn or at your house. Otherwise, if you're on the same account, it'll still take about 5 minutes for your character to log out in-game before you can log into a new character. So be aware of that. Quests, there's not a lot of quests on this server, and I don't think that they're kept track of there anyway. But if you ever do happen along a quest or happen to do a quest, feel free to try to use that button. But they're starting out, you're not really going to mess with it. So skills, you're going to click on that. This is a scroll setup, so you have the ribbon on the side to scroll up and down. You can click the blue jewel, just click it and then pull down and then click again if you want to lengthen it. And you can push the minus button here to minimize it and drag that wherever you want to. Double click to reopen or right click to get rid of it. So you just push the arrows on the side and that'll maximize it, and you can see all the skills there. If it has a blue gem on the side, that means it's an active skill, which means you get to activate it to use it. So for example, arms lore, when you click it, now I get this targeting cursor and then I click on the thing that I want to look at. Same thing for begging. Begging you use against NPCs, and you can walk up to an NPC, target them, and you're going to beg, and they will or will not give you money. Over on the right-hand side, you can see how high your skill is up. Like I said, 0 is the lowest, 100 is the highest. In most cases, we'll get into that later. And you can click on the arrows next or the locks next to them to either if they're down, that means that the skill points will go down. If they're locked, that means that the skill points will not change. And if the arrows are pointing up, that means you're going to increase the skill. So you're only allowed so many skill points in this game, so use them wisely. If you have any more questions about specific skills, I'll be doing a series on specific skills much later on. But you can also check out the forums and the wiki to find out some more specific things about skills if you have any questions. But probably the most important coming off the bat are going to be combat skills, and those are raised just by using your weapon, so there's nothing even to be too concerned about there. So we're just going to close that. We're going to go on the guild. So this is your guild window. So if you're ever invited to join a guild, you just click here, and this will give you more information about your guild roster, and all that kind of stuff. Like I said before, from war to peace, while you're in town, you're just going to stay in peace mode. Probably if you attack somebody in town, you're going to get in some trouble. So just stay in peace mode. And then status. So this is the last thing we'll go over in this video. Status, this keeps track of your stats. So your strength, your dexterity, which this is a little juggling icon, your intelligence, the little brain icon. So your strength directly correlates to your health and your hit points. Your dexterity directly correlates to your stamina and your swing rate on your weapon, and your intelligence directly correlates to your mana pool. So right over here you can see my health is at 100, my stamina is at 100, and my mana is at 25. The max stats are 225 here, and so you can see this keeps track of how many stat points you have, and you can see that mine's maxed out at 225. Now luck is not something in this game, so you don't have to worry about that. And then down here we have that's the little kind of like pound symbol, like it's the weight, symbol. So I'm sitting at 55 out of 390. So my max I can carry is 390. That's because my weight, or because my strength is at 100, and I'm currently carrying 55 stones right now. Stones are the weight system. Over here, this is how many followers I have. Those count animals, summoned monsters, things like that. And then over here is my armor, and then how much gold I'm carrying. So for a more simplistic view of that, you just click your character and pull to the side, and that'll give you your health, your mana, and your stamina, but without any numbers associated to it. But it's a much simpler way to see how kind of what state your character is in. So that is the rest of the paper doll, and we're going to be moving on to the next video. See you soon. Thanks for joining me.